Can a renewed focus on the customer experience revitalise UK manufacturing? And how do you organise your business to drive service delivery to the next level? In this programme, we speak to Epicor's Martin Hill to find out. There's been a lot of hand-wringing in recent years over the supposed death of UK-based manufacturing. Domestic firms are just not cost competitive with those in emerging locations, goes the argument. But with recent data suggesting the UK manufacturing industry is growing once more, is it time to revisit that particular cliché? Martin Hill is VP for EMEA Marketing at manufacturing software firm Epicor. I asked him if he shared the general optimism surrounding the sector, and if so, what was driving that renaissance?
UK manufacturing is definitely not dead. I think we've all seen the manufacturing output figures quoted recently. We've seen growth in the last couple of quarters. And we've seen that on a background of growth generally in the UK economy. I think the IMF, Bank of England and others are raising their growth forecasts. I think it's interesting to understand that those forecasts are being raised in the UK against a background of lowering forecasts in the rest of the world, which are bringing everyone pretty much back into line. So that presents us, I think, with a great opportunity. It means that the UK has an opportunity to improve its competitiveness, regain its competitiveness, take advantage of the opportunity that that global economy presents them with.
Obviously, a lot of geographies around the world have focused very much on price and as cost as a differentiator. So are we seeing a shift away from that?
A keen focus on cost and efficiency is going to remain a priority for manufacturers. Having said that, the real opportunity for them lies in differentiating themselves through the service that they offer their customers and competing on the whole customer experience rather than just price and delivery. And I think we've seen through some research work that we've done with IDC that actually in mature markets, customers with a mature approach to the customer experience are the ones who gain competitive advantage. They're the ones who will see themselves more easily able to differentiate against local domestic competition, but also international competition. I think we've all competed for a long time against the Far East and emerging countries who perhaps have a cost advantage or have had a cost advantage. But more and more we're seeing manufacturing coming back onshore, and the companies who are doing that are differentiating themselves through value-added services and dramatically improved customer experience.
So what are some of the benefits of taking that more customer experience driven approach rather than focusing on costs? And what do firms need to do to improve in this regard?
Well, clearly, if you can differentiate yourself on the level of service or even the breadth of service that you offer customers, it's far easier to defend your prices and maintain your margins. So that's an important aspect to consider. As far as how they go about doing that, one of the foundations will of course be the use of technology to integrate processes to drive efficiency and the adoption of best practice in the business. And that's where we see ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning playing a really foundational role in establishing a structure and, as I say, a foundation for companies to start considering making the way that they work with their supply chain partners, whether they be customers, suppliers, making those relationships much more efficient, much easier, giving them an opportunity to offer higher levels of service, much more agile, whether it be pre-production or post-production. Some businesses, we see that collaboration happening during the design phases, during configuration, during the specification of products. In others, it's more about the after-sale service, about perhaps the opportunity to rent or to service, the establishment of service level agreements rather than the outright purchase of equipment. So I think there's a big role to play for ERP in building that foundation.
Of course, technology is often spoken about as an enabler of business services. It can also be hugely disruptive. I asked Martin what impact innovations around the cloud, mobility and data analytics were having on the manufacturing sector.
Well, if you start with the cloud, really what we're seeing is the ability for customers to choose the mechanisms they use to deploy systems. And in choosing cloud-based solutions, it means it's much more easily accessible no matter where you are. You're not tied to a network anymore. So your enterprise application is accessible from anywhere. The other kind of choices that you have from a technology perspective revolve around how you use those applications, how you integrate them with devices and applications that people are already using. So the integration of mobile devices, for example, becomes much easier when you have access to those systems direct to the cloud from anywhere in the world, from any mobile network, and almost from any mobile device now. So all of those additional choices give companies the opportunity to innovate with their interaction with customers and other players in the supply chain. So all of these things, deploying your applications in the cloud, accessing them from mobile devices, using the advanced analytics tools, which are now embedded within the applications themselves, all mean that companies can be far more agile, they can be far more responsive, they can offer a much better service, they make better decisions, they make them faster, and they can make them anytime and anywhere.
Okay, sure. And so what role does ERP play in bringing all these solutions together and enabling manufacturing firms to take advantage of these new disruptive technologies?
Much of the company's data, its intellectual property, is contained within that ERP system. Accessing it, mining it, sharing it, using the people that you have in your organization to help interpret that information, that's the challenge. So as you give people the tools that make access to that information easier and more immediate, and through devices that they're using day to day, you're integrating perhaps those who weren't traditionally ERP users into the enterprise. So social collaboration tools, for example, being able to share information about customer orders or products or inventory or manufacturing processes and leverage the knowledge and experience of a much broader population of employees in order to resolve challenges or take advantage of the opportunities presented. That's where we see the change coming. People are more and more familiar with the idea of crowdsourcing, of collaborating around a common theme as a group of interested people, and then disbanding once that project has passed. And that kind of informality of process is what is causing a revolution in what we see in our customers. ERP has always been very process oriented. There are ways of doing things, ways of processing transactions, workflows for completing job. The social enterprise works in a much more informal way and in many ways can be far more agile. Having said that, you still have the structure of ERP behind you, so it's much easier to automate the things that there is only one way of doing, there is only one choice to make. Take those away from the people who are consuming their time and energy managing those processes and give them the opportunity to innovate around that, delivering much higher levels of customer service, higher levels of customer engagement, and potentially identifying opportunities for further improvement, further efficiencies, further best practice adoption.
So can you share any examples of manufacturers that have benefited from a focus on customer service and how their ERP system provided the right platform for those improvements?
We have examples here in the UK of customers running Epicor solutions, such as Rutland Plastics, who invested in Epicor ERP to automate their processes and drive efficiency. And what they've actually managed to achieve by doing that was to eliminate an awful lot of, let's say, time that they were wasting processing transactions where they could have been actually dealing with the customer's real issues. The quality of the data that they're recording, the quality of their interactions with customers as a result of the improvement in data are improving, and their customer service levels are improving along with it. Now, their primary differentiator in what can be something of a commodity market is customer service. You can't compete on price and delivery alone. So it's a good example of how automating processes, driving quality into the transactions, quality into the data, quality into the interaction with customers, delivers a better customer service. You can then look at a different kind of business like Permastore, who manufacture very large storage tanks. Their issue was about integrating their ERP system with the plant machinery to drive efficiency. Most of their products are designed specifically for each customer, so there's a lot of collaboration with not just the customer, but with other partners in the supply chain pre-manufacturing, and driving some efficiency and integration between systems, engineering systems, manufacturing systems, and enterprise systems was key to them. The inclusion of business process management tools with those systems allowed them then to build a solution for their business that mirrored what was real life for them, rather than having to modify, having to customize, or having to compromise, which would have been the alternative. So again, another good example of integration, delivering better customer service from the pre-production processes. And then there's companies like Maxim, who are a very high volume distributor, had a lot of disparate systems dealing with very many different channels that their customers dealt with them through. Automated channels, web-based channels, in-person channels. And their challenge was to streamline the order-to-cash process. It's a very margin-sensitive business, very high volume. So by delivering the platform that could integrate all those different customer channels, they've now established a system that will scale with them, that delivers a speed of response to their customers that they're finding their competitors are being challenged to meet, and a much higher level of service as a result for all of their customers, no matter how they interact with them.
Do you have any key recommendations for how firms can move towards this more customer experience-driven approach? What's first on that list of to-do things?
So the number one thing is about building that platform that integrates the key processes and prevents departments or partners in the supply chain from behaving in silos. And that really is the role of ERP. It has been for a long time, and it will continue to be. When you make your choice of ERP, make sure that you choose one that is agile, one that will change with you. I think what we know now more than ever is that businesses change, and they change quicker and quicker. Their business models change, their markets change, their customers change, their competitors change. So an agility is what you should seek. The other aspect of it is to find a solution that will allow you to extend the reach of that enterprise solution beyond the traditional boundaries, deeper into the supply chain and deeper into your organization. And I think the social enterprise tools are a great way of doing that. It's not about having everybody as an ERP user, it's about having ERP as an equal contributor in the business.
Okay, great. And so finally, Martin, what are you most excited about in this space? Are there any key trends or developments on the horizon that you think are really driving the industry forward?
The consumer market has moved very fast in recent years. People have an expectation about how systems and applications should behave, not just on their PC, but on their mobile devices, their tablets, and so on. The enterprise applications market has a big legacy to carry forward with it. Those systems of record, the databases, the transactions, the process rigor, and so forth. But I think we've made that step now, and we're starting now to see those applications move right into the 21st century. Those applications which don't make that move, I think, are not going to be able to compete. So the exciting stuff will come with mobile, and when you combine that with the cloud, with big data, the opportunity to build systems that enable companies to really differentiate themselves and the service they offer their customers becomes very apparent. So that's the area I'm most excited about.
For more fantastic interviews directly related to your business, be sure to explore Meet the Boss TV.